Okay, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we are going to be talking about you only get out as much as you put in, and that goes for all aspects of all training across the board. So, for me personally, like some days when I go in the gym, I have a lot more energy than I do on other days, and I know that's just true for everybody. It doesn't matter what you use for pre-workout. Some days you got better sleep, or you didn't have as hard as a day, or you had a day off from work, or it was a day off from the gym or whatever, and you have more energy, you ate more food. Those are the days that you can push harder. But it always feels like on the days you have more energy and you can push harder are the days that are led by I feel tired and I don't feel as pushing as hard tonight. But with the mindset of that, going into a competition or getting ready to compete or doing a sport or anything, you have to have the mindset of like, well, if you sandbag it here, this is the competition. Well, like as far as it goes for bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, the competition isn't when you're on the platform. It isn't when you're on stage. Even if you are competing in powerlifting and someone's like, hey, like I'm going to go for 700 deadlift. And if you're only a 600-pound deadlifter, there's nothing you can do to outmaneuver him to out deadlift a 700-pound deadlift. Like that was already done before. Everything you do, your whole competition is in the gym. So if you have the mindset of like, I'm tired today, so I'm going to kind of like throttle down and just kind of get through my workout, well, you're only going to get out as much as you put into it. Now, I do believe that there's a time where you kind of need to back off and deload and rest, but if you're doing this daily or weekly and you're just trying to get through your workout, I don't feel like you're going to be taking it as far as you can. There are exceptions to the rules, like there are exceptions to everything, but that's just me personally, how I feel about it. What are your guys' thoughts on it and stuff like that, as far as it goes for training? And have you noticed any days that are worse than the others? Like for me, any day that follows leg day is like the worst for me.
I don't really have any issues with like leg days or anything like that. For me, it's mostly just like tonight with arms and stuff. I'm not just not a fan of them, so I struggle with them in general. Like I don't get a lot of feedback on arm night for myself. So when doing the exercises, it's hard for me to tell if I'm putting in enough effort or if I'm putting in too much effort kind of thing, like overdoing it on the weights. Because like even tonight, I tried to back off on the weights some because last time, or what was it, like Tuesday night, I think I went a little bit too heavy on some of the exercises, and I figured, okay, maybe that was the issue. So like tonight, I backed up on some of the weights, brought them down some, but again, it was the same thing. Like I'm doing the movements, but not really getting the feedback. So like that's more of my issues with it, like trying to figure out where on those certain nights where I don't have that good feedback, like the effort I'm putting in, is that really giving me anything, or do I need to change up something?
Yeah, and I get that too, because it's like trying to find that sweet spot. Like sometimes like going heavier on a movement feels great. Other times going lighter on the same movement feels also on another night better. So like for instance, like spider curls, like one night I can go light and it feels great. The next time I go light, I don't feel it and I have to go heavier, then vice versa and stuff like that. Same thing for triceps or anything else. And I think it just varies workout to workout. Like I said, like I think a lot of the stuff you do outside the gym, like hydration, eating, rest, sleep, how your workload was when you're working throughout the day and on your job, how physically active you are, how many steps you've been moving around. I think all that comes into play too, how it affects you in the gym. But at the same time, like you got to put in as much as you can put in, regardless of how much it is. And what I mean, like, okay, if you're like bodybuilding, obviously, like the amount of weight on the barbell is not so important. The amount of weight on the dumbbell is not so important. It's about contracting and getting the muscle to stimulate. If you're powerlifting or you're competing in a strength sports or endurance sports or CrossFit, strongman, whatever, then your percentages matter. Your training load matters. All that matters because those percentages are going to lead up to the overall results of what your programming is designed to get you to. And if you want to break PRs or outperform people, then it has to be done in the gym. And if you sandbag it and you don't hit your numbers, and you don't follow your percentages, and you don't do what you need to do to hit your numbers, your percentages are going to be off, and it's going to lead you to have a poor performance whenever you're on competition day. Because like I said, the competition's in the gym. There's nothing you could do the day of competition if you're competing in a physical sport that will make you better on that day. There's nothing. There's no mental games. There's nothing pre-workout, nothing you could take. That's all done 100% in the gym. And if you don't put the work in, you're not going to get the work out whenever the time comes. And then you're going to feel bad about yourself going to compete, knowing that you sandbagged it in the gym. You're like, man, what if I just trained a little harder? What if I drank a little bit more fluid, or ate a little bit better? Or what if I got a little bit more sleep, or whatever it may have been? And then you're going to know that you didn't give it your all. I mean, I guess not everybody, but I'm speaking personally from my personal view of it. So you used to compete in gymnastics and cheerleading. Was there any moments for you that like you could tell other people weren't putting the same work as a team sport? Or were there days that you didn't feel like putting in the same amount of work, or notice that you were kind of sandbagging it or holding the team back, or that some of the team members were holding the rest of the team back?
Right. I mean, of course. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I personally liked individual sports, because of, like you said, that I can only do as good as I can do. And how much work I put into it, like, helps me, yes. But if it's a team sport and some people don't give it their all, because like you said, that could hold us back from winning. And that's what like our daughter, when she did competitive cheer as well, she really enjoyed the sport. She practiced. Any chance you would get, you see her flipping around, trying to get better at every little thing she learned. And then she'd go to competitions, and there's people that weren't passionate about it or didn't care as much. And then her team wouldn't do as good. And she got to the point where she's like, okay, it's not about how good I do on my own. And so she wanted to go to an individual sport because she could get as much as she gave in.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like, you all have to share the same vision, right? When it comes to team sports, you all have to have the same vision. It's not just about passion, but you all have to visualize winning. Like, what is it going to take to win? Like, you can't just put your blinders on and look like 3 days ahead or 2 days ahead. You have to be able to look further into the future. You have to be able to be like, okay, what is the end goal? Is it to win our next game? Is it to win the next season? Is it to win state or nationals or whatever it is that your team, whether you're a high school or college or what, or just extracurricular activity after work or school with friends, and you're in like a little like minor league or something like that. Like, you have to share the same vision, because if your vision is to like be the best out of everybody and no one else is sharing that vision, they're just there because it's something to do, then it's going to be hard to be able to get satisfaction out of playing that team sport, because it's like, I'm willing to do what it takes to be as best as I can, and you guys are not putting the same effort, and you're not putting the same intensity into this as I am. And that's where, when you have an individual sport, the only one you could blame is yourself. The only one you could look back on to say, hey, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, is yourself. Now, to play devil's advocate, not to be a cop-out, or your coach. If you have a coach and he didn't train you properly, or he let you down, or he kept bailing out on you or making excuses, or he didn't have the proper plan for you, and you went in there on his guidance and advice and you failed because of you did what he said to do to the T and you failed, it may not be because he's a bad coach. It might just be because he doesn't know your body and your stimulus and what you need to perform correctly. And then he will be able to learn and adjust and adapt you to become better the next competition, if he's a good coach. If he's not, then, well, you either have two options. You either keep running with it and hope he is able to get you there, or you fire him and do it on your own, or hire another coach.
Well, and to go off of what we're talking about, it's not about cheer and gymnastics, but it's a package deal. Like, if you want actual good results, it's not just going into the gym. You have to do it all. Like, as much as you could put in, it does make a difference. Like, if you are working out, yeah, you're going to see changes, but you're going to not see as great of a change as you would if you changed your diet habits.
Yeah, so speaking of being outside of the gym, Richard, when it came to you losing weight, you've dieted plenty of times throughout the years, where you would go to the gym, you do your cardio, you work out, and you would sandbag it on the diet. You wouldn't actually eat what you're supposed to eat, or you wouldn't eat as much as you're supposed to eat, or you skip meals or eat the wrong stuff, and your results didn't really come at all, let alone fast enough. But now that and I'm not saying you haven't been strict on your diet before, but you, as someone who's done this, you know the cause and effect of having your hydration, your sleep, your food, how much of a difference it makes whenever you tighten all that up and you plug all those holes in that wall. and you really dam that wall up where no water is coming through, nothing's trickling out, and how fast your results build up.
Yeah, like when we're talking about like what you get what you put in kind of thing, it does pertain to the sports and stuff like that, but even to your personal goals, like it's the same thing. Like when you're looking at your personal goals, like right what I'm doing right now with the weight loss. Before, as you're saying, like I didn't put in a lot of effort on the diet because it was difficult for me to find that I guess like the exact thing that I was going to stick to, because certain meals would be amazing. Like the first 3-4 days, maybe a week or so, they'd be like, this is great. This is awesome. I can do this. And then after that, it's like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to eat this anymore ever at the moment kind of thing. So right now what's helping me a lot is just finding that, and even though I'm doing the same things consistently, like same meals and everything, I really enjoy the meals, and that's what's making it easy for me. So finding something that I really enjoyed is what helped me the most to be able to stick to it a lot easier this go around. Because like I said, having something that I can tolerate for a week is nice, but then having to figure out, okay, like what do I need to change it to now to make it through another week or another week? And then if I don't have that stuff readily available, then I just start to veer off. And I'm like, well, you know what doesn't sound bad right now? Popeyes.
Well, yeah, and it comes to being able to suffer through something, right? Like, because like some people are the chicken and broccoli crowd, and there's nothing wrong with that if you can maintain to it and stick to it. But realistically, most people can't do the chicken and broccoli diet. So it comes through a matter of like, if someone's like, hey, this is what it's going to take, and it's not something that you can sustain for a while, like you're going to suffer through it to get results for X amount of time, then eventually you're going to break and you're not going to be able to stick to it. But you have to find a diet that you're going to be able to stick to, and a flavor that you don't mind eating day in, day out, because when it comes down to it, it's the boring stuff. It's the repetitive stuff. It's the things you do over and over and over that's going to yield the most results that you can continuously replicate over and over, like going to bed at a certain time, waking up at a certain time, drinking a certain amount of fluid, eating a certain amount of food, certain kinds of food, and then getting all those variables under control to where you can consistently do those. And that's what's going to get you the most out of your workouts. And that's what's going to help you feel the best when you're in the gym working out. So if you're skipping in one and lagging, you're going to feel it in the other.
I mean, yeah, like even when it came to you doing your diets back in the day where you were just doing like chicken and broccoli and brown rice kind of diets and stuff like that. And then in the mornings you were doing your oatmeal, like the plain oatmeal, but you would just take the dry oats, put them in your mouth, and then take a drink of water, switch it around, and then swallow it. I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, that
like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that led to some really bad stomach bloating. It wasn't the best idea. I mean, I had some really bad stomach cramps from doing that, but I was just trying to choke it down as fast as possible because it was repetitive.
I mean, my oatmeal is like maple brown sugar. That's
with this little slither of butter in there.
Yeah, that's my oatmeal. That plain Quaker stuff. I was like, nope, ain't happening.
You know what my grandma does? She takes the cinnamon oatmeal, and she'll put honey ham in it. She'll make cinnamon oatmeal and put cubed honey ham in there.
Ew.
Actually, sounds like it'd be worth a shot.
Yeah, she says it's sweet and salty.
Yeah, I'm just not big on cinnamon. I think it'd probably be better with the maple.
Yeah.
Brown sugar, because that's
Oh, yeah,
the
with the
honey
maple
ham
ham,
I
yeah.
make
Yeah,
for Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting pretty close to that.
I'm gonna enjoy that day, guys. So when I pack back all my pounds, don't judge me.
Oh, you won't pack on that many. You can't overeat that much in a day, especially on that kind of food.
I won't really eat until Thanksgiving. That way, it doesn't really affect
just
me.
offset the calories and stuff. So, okay, so we've been together for a long time. 15 years we've been married. So you've seen me go from bodybuilding to not caring to powerlifting to not caring to bodybuilding to powerlifting, back and forth. And you've seen firsthand, like whenever I was powerlifting, how religious I was about my diet. Like I had to get my food in. Like I had to eat no matter what. But back then, it went from being structured from like red meat. I ate a lot of pork because it was cheap. And let me tell you something. If you eat a lot of pork, you're like, I don't know about other people, but for me, I started smelling like body odor. I would take a shower.
No, you would smell like peroxide.
And body odor. I would take a shower, and as soon as I got the shower, I just smelled like straight up BO. No matter how much deodorant I use, I just smelled wretched all day.
I remember I was there.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like the meat was so cheap, but it just makes me smell so bad. So I had to get off of it. I had to stop eating pork and stuff. But like I said, like I was structuring a lot of meat. I was smoking briskets and eating a lot of brisket because it was cheap, and then I was eating a lot of potato salad and everything else, and I was trying to kind of get more of a structured diet. But eventually I got to the point where I was just like, I can't get enough calories eating this way. So then I turned to I'm air quoting here, the dark side, which was fast food. It was cheap, and I could get a whole, and at the time
At the time it was cheap,
well,
not now.
at the time, a 12 taco box was only like $12, and that's like 2,500 calories for, if you get the flour tortillas, it was like 2,500 calories for $12.
Oh, that sounds so good.
A Little Caesar's pizza, $5 for a large pepperoni, 2,400 calories. So very cheap, a lot of calories, and then I would eat so much horrible food. So like,
Don't forget your Doritos.
so okay, so I'm gonna go over my diet whenever I was powerlifting, and a lot of people are gonna probably be like, "There's no way," but this is what I was doing when I was powerlifting. And a lot of people come up to me and they say, "How do you gain weight?" I have such a high metabolism. I eat a lot of food. I can't get any weight. And I ask them, "What do you eat?" Like, "Well, I wake up and eat like 3 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon and I have some milk and maybe some grits." And that's actually exaggerating. It's more like 3 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, and maybe a piece of toast. And then they're like, and then I'll have like a sandwich with some chips, and then I'll have like, like some peanut butter, and I'll go home and I'll have like some chicken and pasta. It's like, okay, here's meal 1. Like this is no exaggeration. This is when I was powerlifting. I would wake up an hour early just to eat this meal. I would do 8 jumbo eggs, 3 tortillas, 3/4 cup of cheese on each tortilla, 8 ounces of ham, 24 ounces of whole milk with a protein shake, 4 cups of cereal, and 4 pieces of bacon. That's meal 1. And this is what I did to gain weight up to 290 pounds. And then after that, it would be like, all right, this meal, I'm going to go eat a 12 taco box. Next meal, I'm eating a whole pizza from Little Caesars. Next meal, I'm eating 4 McDoubles, 2 spicy chicken sandwiches. Next meal, I'm going to do 2 meatball subs from Subway. And then I would eat a family bag of Doritos throughout the
Doritos?
day. Yeah, a family bag of Doritos throughout the day
Knockoff brand.
while having bananas and protein shakes between every meal with my Doritos. And I was eating 12,000 calories a day roughly. And I was fat and bloated and hurting and constantly falling asleep. It was hard to stay awake because how much food. But man, when I got to the gym, everything just felt so light in my hands. And I was so ridiculously strong from eating all that crap all day. But if I could go back, I would definitely do it differently. And I don't advise anyone to eat like that, especially if you're not in really good health. But if you have to gain weight and you cannot gain weight and people say, I can't gain weight, it's like, well, try eating like this for a month and then tell me if you can't gain weight. Then I'll believe you can't gain weight. That's like when people tell me they can't lose weight. Like I was helping this guy out, Steve, in the beginning videos. Y'all could go back and look at it. He was 400 pounds and I was helping him lose weight. And he was telling me, I don't even eat that much, man. I don't even eat that much, until I put him on a diet and he was eating like 3,000 calories a day and he was losing like 6 pounds a day, eating 3,000 calories a day. For the first, I think, 2 months, he lost almost 45 pounds. No, not even. I think it was more like a month. I think it was almost like 4 or 5 weeks. He lost almost 45 pounds. It was an insane amount of weight he was losing daily. And then he was trying to tell me he didn't eat that much food. And he didn't realize how much he actually ate until he scaled back. So when people are like, well, I can't lose any weight no matter how I eat. It's like, okay, well, hear me out. Have you tried, just curious,
Putting the fork down.
putting the fork down and going on an actual diet?
How did I know you were going to say that? It's that 15 years of marriage there, huh?
Yep, finishing each other's meals. I mean, sentences.
Yeah, you've always finished my meals.
Yeah. So, but like I said, I feel like, if you're going to compete, you need to tighten up and you need to really hone in on your diet, your sleep, your hydration, and you really need to get to the gym and put as much effort in. And if training every day is too much, train every other day. Train 2 days, take a day off. Train 3 days, take a day off. 4 days, take a day off. 5 days, take a day off. Do something like that, because you're literally only going to get out as much as you put into anything. And if you want to get results out of it, you have to put the effort into it, regardless of what it is.
That's kind of how I'm feeling. And I'm only 2 weeks in, but working out 6 days a week already seems like a lot to me, just because I have so many other things to do, and it makes me want to rush and get out. I don't know if it'd be better for me to just work out everything once a week or what.
Yeah, I mean, you could drop it to 3 days a week and just work out like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or you could change it up. I mean, you don't have to be in there 6 days a week like we are. So if you don't want to work out that much, like I said,
I just don't want to get burnt out.
Well, yeah, you need to find the routine that works best for you. I mean, I know you want to go in there and do what we're doing and train with us and stuff like that, but at the same time, like with being a mom of 3 and having a full-time job, you're going to have to find when you can get it in and where you can get it in. Or you change the time of day you work out and you start working out in the mornings.
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to do that. It's like perfect for this video. You get back as much as you put in, and I'm just not willing to give up that sleep just yet. So,
yeah, but also you have to remember, dropping down to 3 days a week, the workouts you did work out, like the days you did work out, would be even longer because you're having to put more into those days.
Yeah, but I feel like I'd have more time with my kids in the evenings. Like, they want me to play outside with them, and I get off of work so late. I get off of work at 7 p.m., and then I have to work out, and then we make the video, and then I still usually have a bunch of other things I have to do around the house before I get to actually sit down and spend any time with them, and then it's time for them to get ready to go to bed for school. So it's like, got to find my balance, because I do like working out, and I do have goals, but like...
Well, you don't get off till 7 o'clock at night, so by the time you get off of work, it's already 7. Then by the time you get done working out and everything else, it's so late. So I understand that, but you also don't start work till 10. So, and you work at home, so you could just take the kids to school, then come home and then work out. But you decide to take the kids to school, go home, go to sleep, and then wake up and start work within a few minutes of waking up.
Listen, you don't know because I'm always in bed next to you, but...
You stay awake until midnight, 1 o'clock playing Monopoly or being on TikTok. You never just go to bed. If you actually went to bed whenever we went to the room to go to bed, you would have no problem waking up and working out. But instead, you want to stay up super late playing on your phone.
But that's like my time of like me where there's no interruptions. I can watch what I want to watch. I can like...
Okay, realistically, it would take you, what, 30, 40 minutes to work out? So you get back from dropping the kids off roughly around 7:45, 8 o'clock. So you would be done working out by 8:30, 8:45. You don't start work till 10. So that gives you an hour and a half to play on your phone or do whatever you want before you have to actually start work.
But that's like my 45 minutes of sleeping, and then I wake up, and then I play on my phone.
You only get out as much as you're willing to put in.
That's funny. I'm like the worst, but I'm true. Like I'm honest. I'm just not there yet.
Well, you're a mom, right? You're a mom and a wife first, and then after that, and that's the reason why you always put everyone above you and before you, so, except for when it comes to Monopoly.
That's not true. I only play like all the time.
Well, so
it's a fun game if you guys haven't played, by the way.
Don't be marketing for them. They're not paying you for that. Don't market them.
It's not marketing. It's just
that
fun.
Is marketing.
I want them to understand why I play.
No, you are advertising. That is not what we do here.
And TikTok, I don't. Whenever you say you're on TikTok, I don't want people to think I'm a child. I listen to true crime on TikTok, okay, and recipes. So.
Oh, big shocker! A woman who's into true crime.
Well.
So.
I like it.
But I think that's going to be it for me on this one. I don't think I have anything else to add to this. Is there anything else you guys want to add or follow up with, or any remarks or questions? Or
that's it for me tonight.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, guys, we appreciate y'all stopping in and checking us out. If you liked the video, made it this far, if you guys could leave us a like, we'd appreciate it. And if you've made it this far in the video, let's be honest, you were probably entertained for some of it, if not all of it, hopefully. So you should probably go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you don't want to like it and you don't want to subscribe to the channel, it's as simple as don't do it. But we would appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Later.